Welcome to Taiwan Talks. I'm Betty Chen. Since the Democratic Progressive Party came to power in Taiwan in 2016, cross-strait relations have become increasingly tense. And after the inauguration of the new president Lai Ching-Te last year, Taiwan faced frequent military threats from China. According to AFP, the presidential office in Taiwan hosted a tabletop military exercise for the first time, simulating a cross-strait military conflict. It was chaired by Taiwan's Vice President Bi-Khim and involved 19 central and local government agencies, as well as civil society organizations. The entire tabletop exercise lasted 3 hours. Why did the presidential office in Taiwan hold its first tabletop military exercise amid heightened cross-strait tensions? And how will this impact the cross-strait relations? Joining us today are Tsai Jung-hsiang, National Chung-Cheng University Professor of Political Science, and Chen Mu-min, National Zhongxing University Professor of Graduate Institute of International Politics. A warm welcome to both of you on the show. So we understand that President Lai Ching-Te has established the Whole of Society Defense Resilience Committee with the goal of enhancing overall resilience in terms of national defense, economic livelihoods, disaster prevention, and democracy. This marked the first time for the central and local government agencies as well as civil observers to conduct a cross-disciplinary tabletop exercise, demonstrating cooperation among all stakeholders to strengthen social resilience. So my first question for you, let's start with Professor Chen. So Professor Chen, I just want to know, maybe you could elaborate a bit more. Why at this time is the presidential office organizing such kind of tabletop military exercise amid the heightened tensions with China?
Yeah, this exercise is a part of this program of Whole Society Defense Resilience Committee. And this organization was founded by President Lai after his inauguration early this year. And the purpose of this committee is to try to get the civilian society of Taiwan to get more prepared for the contingency and also crisis situation that Taiwan is facing right now. And this tabletop exercise is different from traditional simulation game or military exercise, because you see as information we saw from the presidential office that a lot of civilian and also the government agencies been involved. So it is not a pure military game. It is more like a training or exercise between the government agencies and also the civilian society. And I think that in the situation right now, that Taiwan is not just facing the military threat from China, and also certain natural disasters like earthquake, flood. So I think this kind of preparation to make Taiwanese society more resilient is necessary and also very important.
Indeed. So we are talking about the new committee, which is hoping to strengthen the overall resilience for the society. So my next question is for Professor Tsai. We understand that right after this tabletop exercise, President Lai gave a speech, and he also mentioned that this tabletop exercise has adopted a scenario-based but unscripted model, which means that for all of the participating agencies, they do not have any script, meaning when it comes to any problems, they will have to respond on the fly. So how meaningful or how truthful do you think that this tabletop exercise is?
This is very important because you don't have a script, right? So it's not like you set up everything. It's not like an armchair analysis. It is real ones, right? So they have to sort of take the scenarios seriously, and they have to consider the contingencies on the table. And then they can get something done, and they can prepare for the unknown. So this is very, very important. So this is why this time it's not like a regular or traditional war game, right? Because you have to deal with evolving contingencies. So it's very, very important, yeah.
So we understand that this tabletop exercise has simulated some very important aspects that is really happening now, including China's high-intensity gray zone tactics, as well as the Taiwan near conflict situation. So how do you view current predicament faced by Taiwan when it comes to the threat from China, Professor Chen?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem that Taiwan society is facing is that this society did not face a crisis or a conflict situation for many, many decades. And the people over here has been living in a very peaceful and stable life. And of course, we know that we have a national defense, and Taiwan has been under a military threat of China for decades. But the whole society seems unaware of the changing external environment and also the increasing military threat from China in recent years. So I think the most important part for Taiwanese society is people have to be more aware of the situation we are facing today. I'm not saying that we have to, be more military prepared. We have to, arm ourselves. I mean that you have to know that in the 21st century, and when we talk about military, when we talk about conflict, when we talk about situation, it is not the war or conflict you saw in the last century. So if China launch an invasion on Taiwan or increase its military threat on Taiwan, they will not do it in a very conventional way. So we have to be prepared for this new kind of situation.
Could you please tell us a bit more about the new type or the emerging type of threat from China, in addition to the traditional
I want to give another example. That is a Russian-Ukraine war. Russia attacked Ukraine in 2022. But actually, 8 years earlier, in 2014, Russia already attacked Ukraine's financial system. They also conducted various levels of cyber attacks against Ukraine. So actually, if you see that the military invasion in 2022 was the beginning of this conflict, you are wrong. It already started a long time ago. And Russia also conduct what we saw this gray zone warfare. The war did not start in a battlefield. The war started everywhere. Cyber, people's life, public opinions, everything is
infiltrating in all aspects of our lives.
Yeah, that is the 21st century.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Professor Tsai, I just want to know how much pressure Taiwan is facing when it comes to this kind of gray zone tactics from China.
Yeah, because it's a very, very thorny issue to deal with this kind of gray zone activities, because it's in between war and peace. And sometimes it's very confusing. But they try to do this in some intention, because they try to have some cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, maritime incursions, which pose challenges for countries in terms of how to respond without escalating to full conflict. And Taiwan we only can do is defensive measures. So we can try to respond to these kind of activities through exposure and mobilization. So the most important thing is try to stay alert and try to prepare for the most dangerous scenario, because Taiwan has under threat, but we can tip the scale by asymmetric warfare and external balancing with the United States and other like-minded countries, Japan and the Philippines.
Mm-hmm. Generally, it is very important for Taiwan to stand together with like-minded democracies to defend the threat from China and other authoritarian regimes. Mm-hmm. So in addition to conducting the military exercise, we understand that China has also sent the military aircraft circulating Taiwan's airspace. And also we understand that during the President Lai Ching-te's inauguration, as well as the National Day celebration last year, China also sent the largest naval fleet to circulate the territorial waters of Taiwan to flex its muscles. So what kind of message is China trying to send through this kind of military operation? So Professor Tsai, maybe we start from you.
Okay, because China is expanding its A2AD capabilities. That's what we call anti-access and aerial denial, which aim to deter U.S. military intervention in the Taiwan-Strait scenario and demonstrate China can break through the first island chain. So it's like one bird one stone killing three birds. Express February with the Taiwanese president foreign visit, right? And conduct quasi-naval blockade drills and prevent the United States and Japan from entering the first island chain. So China did not dare call it an exercise, which can be tried to say, oh, maybe it's a downplay of the new coming Trump administration. Anyway, but for China, through military pressure campaign, they can send a message to Taiwanese people. They can rattle Taiwan, and they can break the will of Taiwanese people, especially for independent voters. This is the psychological warfare. Yeah.
So, Professor Chen, do you have any other comments on
Well,
this?
yeah, I just want to say that China's goal is very clear. They just want to force Taiwan into submission. Yeah, because at Taiwan and China, we are different countries, and we share different political system, and we have different political ideologies. Chinese government, they know that their ideology and the political system is not attractive to Taiwan at all. So in recent years, they think that the best way to force Taiwan into unification is to increase its military intimidation, and which I think will have a counter effect on the Taiwan side. And but we have to be more prepared, because these gray zone warfare or these new strategies China is conducting, I think they are creating a new situation. That is, the confrontation between both sides is not just military; it's also different ideologies, different society, facing to face each other, and because of the new technologies, make it difficult for Taiwanese society to defend ourselves. That's my opinion. Yeah.
So both of you professors have talked about the importance of, say, cyber attacks, disinformation, and also like maritime intimidation from the other side of the Taiwan Strait. So I would like to draw our attention back to the drill that we have in Taiwan. Over the years in Taiwan, we have the Wan An and Ming An drill, but President Lai also announced that by 2025, the existing Wan An and Ming An drills will be incorporated into the new 2025 urban resilience drill to strengthen the overall defense capabilities of Taiwan. So could you please tell us a bit more about the overall defensive strategy of Taiwan and how this will impact the cross-strait relations?
We need to coordinate with the United States, because we cannot do it on our own. We have to sort of support the integrated deterrence or extended deterrence with the United States. This is super important. And not only that, but we have to coordinate with Japan and the Philippines. It's like a triangle, okay? We cannot do it by just ourselves, okay? So this is very, very important. And Taiwan needs to arm itself to the teeth and prepare for counter-landing operations or anti-blockade measures against China. And in the meantime, civil defense is very important. As important as the military defense. No one can stay out of the aggression unless we surrender or leave. Yeah, this is very, very important.
Professor Tsai, you talked about something critically important, that is the role civil defense can play. So Professor Chen, I just wonder, a lot of experts, or you can say foreign delegations visiting Taiwan recently, one of the key or the topic that they are most interested in is knowing about Taiwan's civil defense capability. So could you please analyze what is the overall preparedness of Taiwan's civil defense capability? Are we ready? Are the ordinary citizens ready to protect ourselves? Or to even provide, make some contributions to defending ourselves?
Yeah, I think we are improving, because that is a part of our weakness. Right. The reason is very simple. In the past, people like us, we serve in the military, So, okay, we think that, okay, we have armed forces. If there is any threat from outside, that our armed forces will respond. That's their responsibility. But right now, all this kind of situation or crisis, you see that all society will be affected. So how to mobilize the resources in the society to respond to the crisis in a fast and swift way is very, very important. So we need more coordination. We also need more networking. And we also need to aware public awareness on this kind of crisis situation. So that is all. This is the situation that I think that our society has to be more prepared, more training, and also aware public awareness. I think also important. It's not just the government responsibility. I think that people like us, we are also professors in the university. We also have to tell our students, tell the public about this situation.
So, Professor Tsai, what's your suggestion for increasing people's awareness about the importance of civil defense?
Yeah, it's very important because, in the wartime, it's hard to distinguish the civil society and the military because they are in our territory, right? So, but the thing is that in the meantime, if we try to develop this kind of preparedness, right, of civil organization, they can use that for disaster stuff, right? And at the same time, they can use for military uses, right? So it's very, very important not try to say, okay, only the adults, only the military guys can do this kind of thing. That's wrong, okay? You are supposed to have a total mobilization of civil society. Look at the Baltic states. They are doing this kind of thing for many, many years to prevent Russian aggression, that kind of stuff. So this is very, very important. We can learn a lot from them, all right? Because right now, still in Taiwan, we have unity issue. Some people, they don't really care. They say, oh, we are not gonna have war, or if we keep dialogue with China. But I would say this is not right, because sometimes you have to prepare both ways. You cannot just, okay, this is only one way. It's very dangerous.
So both ways are important. So we have talked about the importance of being prepared domestically. Now let's zoom out to see how we can forge alliance with the world. At the same time, U.S. President Joe Biden announced the 19th arms sales to Taiwan in mid-December 2024 before leaving office. The sale was valued at around $265 million, including communication equipment systems and more. The White House also announced that Biden approved $570 million in military aid to Taiwan. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs immediately announced sanctions against 7 American military industrial companies and related senior management. So talking about this military sales from Biden administration to Taiwan before leaving office, what's the significance of this? We start with Professor Chen.
Okay. This arms sale includes 2 parts. The first is to upgrade a Link 16 system. And this system is important for the communication and network security of Taiwan's armed forces. And the second item is to sell us Taiwan 76mm guns, which is also important for our army. These arms sales, I think that if you want to say how important they are, I think the most important thing is that the U.S. sent a very strong and clear message to Taiwan and also to China that it continue to commit its commitment to Taiwan's security and defense. And they also Americans are also working hard to help Taiwan strengthen our defense capabilities. Because for Taiwan, I think the most important thing is to upgrade and also modernize our weapon systems. And so U.S. is very important. Actually, now the most important, our weapon system provider. So a more close cooperation with the U.S. and the purchasing and upgrading system like this is also important for Taiwan's armed forces.
Definitely, the United States is our most important ally when it comes to arms sales. So, Professor Tsai, after President Trump resumed office after in his second term, will there be any major changes to his, say, military strategy towards Taiwan? Do you think that in terms of the arms sale frequency and nature, will there be any major changes?
Yeah, we can look at the record, look at the history. The Trump 1.0 administration ratified nearly $180 billion of arms sales to Taiwan. So it was the Trump administration that provided the most arms sales to Taiwan since the breakup in the diplomatic relations between Taiwan and the United States. So it's highly possible for the Trump 2.0, it's not, I don't think they are gonna pull the punch, all right? Instead, they will raise the stakes by promoting more arms sales to Taiwan, both qualitatively and quantitatively, as their approach is peace through strength. I am very optimistic about this. Yeah, this is very, very important because, you know, like you mentioned, the Chinese sanctions on U.S. arms companies, I think will not reduce American arms sales to Taiwan. Instead, they will backfire, of course, and because they will strengthen the U.S. Congress resolve to provide more support to Taiwan arms sales. And the U.S. and the Sino-U.S. relationship has been fraught, right? With the United States thinking to partially decouple and de-risk from China. So this is very, very important because China hasn't kept its word on the peaceful settlement outlined in the 3 communiques signed by the United States and China. So China is taking its own medicine. So this is my opinion, yeah.
So, Professor Tsai, you think that, given the sanction that has been imposed by China against the American military arms dealers, you think that Congress will backfire and provide more arms to Taiwan? Professor Chen, do you agree?
I'm not so sure, but I think that the impact of such sanctions will be minimum. The reason is simple, because right now, U.S. Congress, I think that both parties, they know that China is a challenger. China is not a friend of the U.S. So U.S. also imposed various sanctions or embargoes, on China. So I think that this kind of sanctions will not affect the U.S. much. No. Yeah.
But now Trump is going to have the Trump 2.0 administration coming into office, right? So in his second term, he is known for being unpredictable. What will be the uncertainties that might occur? If you have a crystal ball, if you could make some predictions, what will these be, Professor Tsai?
President Trump can be transactional. But the thing is that, like I say, their approach is peace through strength. So they know what's going on between Taiwan and China, right? So this is very, very important. But the most important thing is that we have to build up unity. If we don't have unity, U.S. may have doubts about Taiwan because you guys are not going to defend yourself. If you don't pull your own weight, how can you ask us to defend for you guys, right? And in the meantime, if you don't have unity, it also sends a signal to China because Taiwan is polarized and unwilling to defend itself. Okay, this is very, very important. Of course, regarding arms sales, we have a wish list. But the thing is that sometimes U.S. is not going to provide anything we want, right? So we need to negotiate with the United States on the terms of arms sales and work together to prevent an unprovoked attack from China. This is very, very important.
So, Professor Chen, what's your take on this?
I would say that President Trump, he's not pro-China or pro-Xi Jinping. No. He just thinks that the U.S. foreign policies should have priorities, and the U.S. cannot support its allies without limits. So he keeps saying that the U.S. priority, like U.S. make U.S. great again. So
America
I think for
first, right?
Yeah. So no, I think for Taiwan, the most important thing is that we have to convince President Trump and the new U.S. government that Taiwan is not a burden, but an asset to the U.S. The Taiwan's Taiwan's importance. I think people already know, not just our location, not just our democracy, but our semiconductor industries and Taiwan's connection with the rest of the world. So it is an asset to the U.S. I think that we have to tell President Trump and his government saying that being here is a good, you support Taiwan is a good for the U.S. and also for the entire free world. And this is a very important the message I want to convey to the new Trump administration.
Thank you very much for conveying this message, but we also understand that Trump, before taking office, he already said that Taiwan has stolen America's semiconductor industry, and also he says that Taiwan should pay more in terms of the military support. How would you counter this kind of statement?
No, in this world that you see that no product is produced only in one country. You bring in these factories back to the U.S. And manufacture those products in the U.S. It's not going to solve the problem. And the U.S. actually, their markets and their allies are the entire world. Mm-hmm. So I think we have to make a new American government know that don't think too narrow about the U.S. interests. You have to think global. Yes. You have to think wide. So Taiwan, not just Taiwan, Korea, Japan, or European Union, we are all part of the U.S. allies, and we can all make a positive change, a positive access to the U.S. foreign policies.
So, Professor Tsai, what will be your suggestion to the incoming Trump administration?
I don't think Trump will abandon Taiwan because it's not gonna. Taiwan is so important, right? We build up advanced chips, but the thing is that maybe for making America great again, they will ask our TSMC to build up more fabs, not only in Arizona, maybe in some other states like Texas, because I learned something from the United States, and then they try to say, maybe you guys should build up more fabs, more foundries in the United States. So it can create more jobs, it can create, it can be good for their economy, because this is very, very important. Because American first, it's not an isolationist, it's unilateralism. They try to say, okay, everybody comes to work in the United States, so we can have a great economy. So make U.S. great again, and it can be forceful to authoritarian regimes.
So all in all, no matter what the outside world will be changing, what really matters is that in Taiwan, we have to know our own value, and we need to show our value to the world, and we need to strengthen our self-defense capability so that internally and externally we'll be able to survive. Thank you so much for joining the show today, and I'm afraid that's all the time we have, and thank you once again for your insights. If you like our show, please search for us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, and hit subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching our show today. Stay safe and see you next time.